Good morning, everyone. I've got an important message to share with you a little bit. This concerning the current situation in Eastern DRC, more precisely in the city of Goma. Let me say it's a shame. Shame and big shame for the international and mainstream media and all those who are accomplices to the Rwandan hegemony in the Great Lakes region. The international, so-called international community with its media is biased, corrupt, and hypocritical. All these media have been spreading wrong propaganda over the DRC, declaring that the city of Goma has fallen. It is, or it was currently occupied by the Rwandan M23 terrorist movement of the tiny president of Rwanda, tiny and ugly president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame. Up to now, none of those media has shown a proof that Goma has been taken. All these media are now ashamed to tell the truth that the Rwandan terrorists fell into a trap. The Congolese soldiers, as well as the patriot Wazalendo, let them fall into a trap, into Goma. They left all the borders open, and the time they entered, the Congolese fighters move against them and start killing them one by one. Street fight occurred, and they were all massacred. The Congolese fighters didn't stop there. A portion of Congolese army moved into Rwanda, into the poor city of Gisenyi, and another one called Rubavu. A lot more is to be said. Many Rwandans have been killed by the Congolese soldiers, by Congolese army. Why can't this international media show the evidences of how Rwandans are being crushed by Congolese fighters? They keep quiet because they are ashamed. And since 1994, this is what has happened, that the international community has been covering and spreading lies of Rwanda. Rwanda doesn't have an army. Rwanda has never won any war in DRC. Yes, we do admit that they infiltrated us thanks to the corruption of some Congolese guys who have been helping them onto the detriment of the full population in the country. But what is Rwanda? Which people are praising having a disciplined and a mighty army in Africa. Rwanda is nothing. Rwanda has no resources. The only resources Rwanda has got is the air, which every country has got, the wind, the prostitution of the women, and the greatest tool is the lie. Militarily, they don't have any skill. And today, the evidence can be seen. One afternoon only, Congo has decided to step into Rwanda. It is a carnage to prove to you, the liars of the international media, that Rwanda is nothing. Let me tell you, the war in Congo is like the one happening between Ukraine and Russia. Russia is alone against the multitude of the Western countries and other mercenaries that they recruited here and there. It is more than 50 something countries fighting for Ukraine against Russia. The same thing between Rwanda and Congo. It is not only Rwanda which has been fighting Congo. Among the dead bodies, the dead soldiers who have been dying in Congo, you find many mercenaries from the US, from France, from England, from many countries, mostly NATO countries, who have been sending mercenaries in Congo and who have been slaughtered the same way they are being slaughtered in Ukraine by the Russian army. But the international media doesn't want to talk about that. But evidences are on the ground. Congo alone has been fighting the same war, but there is a blackout as regards the spread of the plurality of information to tell the truth of what has been happening in Congo. Can you ask Kagame to tell the truth? How many of its troops have been killed in Congo, especially of late? From high-ranked military officers to the low-ranked foot soldiers. There are plenty that have been killed in Congo. But what happened in Rwanda, in Kigali? Kagame forbids family from mourning their beloved who die continuously in Congo. Should a family mourn, they are all rounded up and thrown into prison cells. The international media is not saying anything about that. The so-called Western democracies have been backing tyranny and dictatorship in Rwanda, but they criticize countries like DRC or Arab countries where there is so-called dictatorship and where there is no democracy. Today you can go in Dubai. There are no elections in Dubai. There are no term of presidential mandates in the office where they tell him 4 years, 5 years, you should quit or be re-elected. But you can walk onto the street of Dubai. You are in security. Nobody would attack you. You feel safe. You live in peace and harmony in Arab countries, whereby when you go into the so-called democratic, the Western democratic countries, it is a permanent war. Go to France, go to England, Belgium, America. It is daily war in the street. People living in the apartment are living in insecurity, in uncertainty, but they keep on boasting their democratic country. What does democracy bring to Africa apart from total disorder? Go to Dubai, you will see how clean are the streets, how safe are the population. There is no harassment of the police asking for passport for this and that. The international media doesn't say anything about this. Today, Kagame is shaking. I don't know if you watch of late his last press conference where he was insulting the Congolese president as being an idiot and himself labeling as a leader. He said he easily can detect who is a leader and who is an idiot. Tshisekedi is just pleasing himself in playing football, but him is there to protect his people. Paul Kagame is not a leader, he's a thief. He's a liar. He's a tyrant and a cheat. He is that different from Robin Hood. He goes to steal to feed the impoverished. Paul Kagame is a Robin Hood. He's nothing. He's not a leader. He's a Western stooge who is working towards the depopulation of his country. How many Rwandans have died in Congo? Why can't the media talk about this? They are backing him because behind him, they want to continue looting the riches in Congo. It is a big shame for you. We are going to teach Rwanda a lesson as the Congolese. Since yesterday, we have started with the first sanction, and we will see those who have been backing it if they will come to the rescue of Rwanda. By this I mean, Rwanda has no electric or hydroelectric dam. The electricity that Rwanda as well as Burundi have been using comes from Congo, from the hydroelectric dam built on Ruzizi Deep River. It is our power. 2 days ago, we switched off the breaker, and the whole Rwanda has been plunged into darkness. Ask them if what I am saying is a lie. It is in Rwanda where the culture of lying is being taught into schools as a philosophy. They call it ubwenge. Well, in my tribe, we call it bwenge, which means cunningness, the art of lying. Wherever you are, you citizen of the world, if you meet a Rwandan, mind you, you are talking to a liar. It is an art in Rwanda to lie. And Paul Kagame is a master in lying. He decimates his compatriot and he turns this into what he called the Tutsi genocide. But who started the genocide in Rwanda? Isn't it Kagame? Who killed the people, who massacred the people? And it is not only the Tutsi who were massacred, it is both the Hutu, who are the majority, and the Tutsi, plus the indigenous people of Rwanda, the pygmy, the short people. So it is not only the Tutsi. Now you can realize that you've been dealing with a liar, a mad person. And when you look at him when he's talking, of late you find that this guy is schizophrenic. He's suffering from schizophrenia. Something is wrong with him. It shows that he's hopeless in what he has been doing so far. His end is nigh, and he's going to go. For how long his backers are going to be with him? What does Rwanda have to continue fooling the world? What does it have? There have been some dictators in the world who gave the wealth of their countries to the Western countries. Some of them, like Mobutu Sese Seko, for 34, 33 years, Mobutu gave all the Congolese resources to Western countries. They ended up abandoning him, and he died like a mangy dog. What about Saddam Hussein? He ended up to be hanged like a dog. And there are many examples to prove that Paul Kagame, with his sticky legs, small legs like mosquitoes, and those lips and eyes like mantis, is nothing but only a super liar who is mentally sick. Congo is moving and has moved now into Rwanda. You, the international community, who have been covering lies and promoting lies, where are you to show Congolese troops in Rwanda for self-defense? And soon we will overthrow the regime in Rwanda. Then all of you will beat it. It is also a big shame for the African continent and the black people. Our so-called organization of African Union, the AU, is a lame duck organization, worthless, which can't help us to achieve anything politically, socially, economically. Where are you? For 30 years, Congo has been fighting lonely, and some of you are among the looters and the attackers of Congo, disguising as people who are helping Congo. You see many Africans sympathizing with the fate of Palestinians, Arab, how they are being massacred by Israeli under the criminal leadership of Prime Minister Netanyahu. You want even to litigate a case against them. No African country is condemning Rwanda. No sanctions which is being taken against Rwanda. Yet, during apartheid, most African countries imposed sanctions on South African apartheid. Now, almost the majority of African countries having been liberated, none of them is taking a step to sanction Rwanda. The same thing with Mauritania. Up to now, slavery against black Mauritanians exists and persists. No African country is pointing a finger against the Islamic and Arabic government in Mauritania. The hope of black in Mauritania is crumbling in front of their faces, and the African Union is saying nothing, but they sympathize with Arab Palestinians. Africans don't have memory. They forget that Palestinians are Arab, and Arab are among people who had been trading Africa, chasing Africans, killing Africans, and spreading lies of the Islam all over the world. And this is for the Congo of Lumumba, of Joseph Kasavubu, of Kim Pavita, of Kim Bangu, of all the Congolese marcher, and all Congolese combatants, so that the Congo nation remains unbalkanized. Have a good day.